we can talk to Alfie Boe now. Alfie, good morning to you. How are you this morning?
I'm doing well, thank you. Good morning. Yeah, that was lovely to hear that rendition again. You don't hear my voice during that recording. You just zone into Dame Vera.
That's you being very modest. But I tell you what, I will say is I think that both your voices just melded beautifully, worked beautifully. Can you tell us how the recording came about and how it actually physically happened?
Yeah, well, she was asked to make her album for her 100th birthday, and she put a list together of people that she'd like to duet with, and you know, luckily I was one of them. And with her being of elderly age, of being 100, she couldn't make it to the studio, so I ended up singing remotely with one of her past recordings. And but it was an honour. It was such an honour. She's a lovely lady. I received a beautiful letter. I performed with her in a variety show, and when she was in the presence of everybody, when she was there, you knew that you were in the presence of an icon and a hero, because that's what she was. She was a hero during those 6 years during the war, and now she's helped us. She probably doesn't realise how much she's helped us, and she's very humble with it.
She went and did it.
Absolutely, it was her chance to do her part during the war, and you know, listening to those veterans talk about her with such passion and such love, it says it all, really. You know, they put on a record, they listened to her sing "We'll Meet Again," Bluebirds, you know, White Cliffs of Dover. There were songs that reconnected them, songs that kept them going, and songs that kept the dream alive of home for them, and brought a lot of them through. She saved a lot of lives.
Well, when you hear the song, Alfie, I mean, it's just "We'll Meet Again." It is so synonymous with Dame Vera Lynn, and it means it's one of those songs, and there are very few in lifetimes, aren't there, that resonate beyond the words, that mean so much to so many people.
Yeah, it's a very powerful song. Those words are very powerful, especially now as well. But I think when she was presented with the song, she said, "Oh no, I could do that really well. I could just belt that out like crazy." And it was once she did it for the first time, recorded it, it was a real gem, something that she probably wouldn't realise that would last for so long, and it's become a real anthem of the United Kingdom, of the world in a way.
We can now speak to Dame Vera's daughter, Virginia Lewis-Jones, joining us on the phone from her home in East Sussex. Virginia, lovely to speak to you this morning. Thank you. At a time of obviously very personal loss for you, yes. And that's the first thing we should say to you. The nation is kind of embracing everything that your mum did, but this is a personal loss to you and your family.
Oh, of course, absolutely. You know, especially after my father passed on, I accompanied Mummy on so many jaunts, if you like, and became even more involved with her and her work. Although I've always been involved, obviously you can't you can't get away from it when you're the daughter of somebody like my mother. And but it was all wonderful. It was great fun, and I always enjoyed everything that we did together. And she was great fun. It was super.
Virginia, can I just ask, I mean, we hear from lots of other people who met your mum, and it's interesting, so many people say, "Oh, I met her once and it was really special." What I'd love to know from you is that maybe, if you're happy to share with us, a bit more of the personal side of your mum over the years, and how she kind of reflected, maybe within the family, about the impact she'd had.
It's very strange because as far as I can glean, her impact from the outer parts of the family, can I say, I don't think until a few years ago they realised quite what an impact she had or has and continues to have. I think that they knew it was Auntie Vera, or it was, you know, Vera or whatever, and she was always there as an aunt or part of the family. But it was only the last few years, I think, maybe even 20 years, that they've realised what an impact that she has had on the world. It's a very strange thing thing, really. You know, when it's your parent, you just say, oh, well, you know, it's mummy or whatever, your father. And you take it for granted, and that you've always been in that particular milieu, and it's always been part of your life, and therefore you personally don't think anything about it. But I know for a fact that from one section of the family a few years ago when we were at the Imperial War Museum, and my second cousin said, I didn't realise the standing, if you like, that my mother had at that particular time.
Virginia, it's Naga here in the studio again.
Hi.
Many thanks. Thanks for talking to us this morning. You know, our thoughts are going out to you and the rest of the family, of course.
Yeah.
We spoke to you not so long ago. Actually, it was on the anniversary on this programme of the D-Day landings, and. We were talking then about how your mum was going to celebrate. She was, you know, in the town where you are, the village where you are, there were going to be celebrations. And she was she's always been very, very conscious of kind of the mood of the nation, I suppose, because she also sent a message, didn't she, on her birthday, asking the British public to find moments of joy. And during these hard times, she just got it, didn't she?
Yes, she did. Yes, yes. I think it was just a natural instinct that she always seemed to sound the right note, to use a phrase. It was just an instinctive thing that she knew how to behave and what people needed at any particular time in their lives and everybody else's lives. Like, I'm just watching, you know, with her out in Burma.
Yeah, absolutely. She was sassy, wasn't she? Because didn't she decide to go there because no one else had been there in terms of all the other stars?
Yes, exactly. And we've got birds in the chimney. I'm just moving. Yes, exactly. She felt that, you know, they were being, well, the forgotten 14th. You know, nobody was going out, nobody was entertaining them, and they were literally the forgotten 14th. And she felt that that was completely wrong, and that she had to rectify that, a mistake, if you like.
Virginia, you must have seen firsthand. It's lovely seeing those pictures, and it's so lovely hearing your response to that. That you know, you're laughing and loving that. You must have seen firsthand times when you're out with your mum and you meet people and the affection.
Yes, yeah, well, it did. Because I think it was the sincerity. You know, people pick up on whether people are sincere or they're not. And Mummy always was, you know. She was, she's a bit whizzy-widget, as they say in the technological world. You know, what you saw was what you got. And she was always that person. Obviously, at home, she was a slight, you know, the persona was slightly different. But the actual basic feeling was still there. The sincerity was still there. You know, she said what she thought, and so the basic. Trying to explain, it's difficult, really. The basic feeling was still the same. Although obviously, when she went out and met people, she was a little more on stage. But the actual sincerity was still there.
Well, Virginia, it's been lovely speaking to you today, and once again, thank you so much for sharing some of what are very personal things for you with us this morning. So we really appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much too. Thank you.
It's really lovely, Matt, isn't it? I don't know if you were listening in there. It's sort of it is lovely, isn't it? Because we're